In a world without Dragon Balls, Goku's journey unfolds in unexpected ways. Gone are the mystical orbs, the ancient dragon, and the promises of wish-altering destinies. Instead, the adventure is raw, defined by strength, survival, and an unyielding pursuit of growth. Every battle, every challenge, and every moment of solitude takes on new significance as the spirit of adventure endures. Goku's story begins on a quiet mountainside, where he trains alone under the blazing sun, his wild black hair and tail flicking with each sharp punch. It is now the year 750, a full year after he would have met Bulma in another timeline. But in this world, he has only his strength and the life around him, until everything changes when he finally meets Bulma. Deep in the forest, Bulma stood frustrated beside her broken capsule car, hands on her hips. "Great, just great, should have packed more parts," she muttered, giving the car a frustrated kick. She scanned the unfamiliar, wild terrain, feeling a little out of her element. This wasn't anything like the city. Suddenly, a figure appeared from the trees. A boy in a blue gi, with spiky hair and a tail swaying behind him. Goku landed in front of her, curiosity in his eyes. "Whoa, what kind of monster is that?" Goku asked innocently. Startled, Bulma jumped. "Whoa, where did you come from, and what monster are you talking about?" She quickly regained her composure. "Never mind, the stupid thing broke down and I'm stuck here." Goku scratched his head, thinking for a moment. "I can help, I'm strong." Bulma raised an eyebrow. "Strong? You? Well, I could use the help. This place gives me the creeps. Are you sure you can handle it?" Without hesitation, Goku lifted the capsule car with ease, leaving Bulma in awe. "All right, maybe you are strong." From that point on, their journey together began. Intrigued by Goku's strength and feeling she couldn't leave him in the forest, Bulma invited him along. In return, Goku eagerly joined her to explore the world beyond his forest. Their path led them into the vast desert, where they encountered Yamcha, a notorious bandit. The dry wind whistled as Yamcha emerged from behind the rocks, his sharp grin full of mischief. Puar hovered beside him, keeping a watchful eye on Goku and Bulma. "This is my turf," Yamcha declared, drawing his sword. "You want to pass? You pay up." Bulma groaned. Just what we needed, a desert thief. Goku's enthusiasm grew as he expressed a desire to fight, eager for the challenge. Yamcha smirked, confidence radiating. "A kid like you thinks he can take me? Don't make me laugh." The battle was swift. Goku's punches were blindingly fast, his movements too quick for Yamcha to track. Each of Goku's blows sent Yamcha reeling, struggling to keep up. Desperate, Yamcha unleashed his Wolf Fang fist, but Goku effortlessly countered, landing a solid strike to Yamcha's gut. Yamcha collapsed, gasping for air. How? How is he this strong? Goku walked over, extending a hand. "You're not bad, you just need more practice." Reluctantly, Yamcha took Goku's hand, still nursing his bruised pride. "You're pretty tough, kid. Maybe I've been slacking off out here." Bulma, arms crossed, smirked. "Yamcha the Great Desert Bandit, huh? Looks like you met your match." Yamcha chuckled awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck as he asked Goku how someone like him got so strong. Goku shared his entire story, from Grandpa Gohan's death to years of training alone in the forest. As they talked, Goku explained that Bulma was showing him the world. Yamcha, tired of his bandit life and intrigued by Goku's strength and the allure of traveling with Bulma, decided to join them. Despite their rocky start, the three journeyed together, with Yamcha transforming from rival to loyal ally, drawn in by Goku's relentless spirit. Soon, they faced a greater danger. The Red Ribbon Army had expanded its control, leaving destruction in its wake. Goku, Bulma, and Yamcha arrived at a village devastated by General Blue and his forces. General Blue stood arrogantly, fixing his cold blue eyes on them as his soldiers terrorized the villagers. "More pests. You'll regret coming here." Goku stepped forward, unwavering. "You're hurting innocent people. I won't let you keep doing this." As the soldiers opened fire, Goku effortlessly dodged the bullets, moving faster than their eyes could follow. In moments, he incapacitated them with swift strikes. General Blue, watching with a calculating stare, remained calm. "Impressive," Blue admitted, a smirk forming on his lips. "But I'm not like those weaklings." He raised his hands, using his psychic powers to paralyze Goku in his tracks. Goku gritted his teeth, struggling against the invisible force. "What? is this?" he gasped, his body straining under General Blue's psychic hold. Yamcha, seeing his friend in trouble, pushed forward despite Blue's soldiers swarming around him. He fought them off one by one, but the frustration in his voice was clear as he shouted, "Goku, hang on!" Blue sneered at Yamcha's futile attempt. "You won't make a difference." But Yamcha wasn't about to give up. Channeling his energy, he focused on the soldiers surrounding him, leaping into the air and unleashing a powerful Wolf Fang fist. The speed and force of his attack knocked several soldiers out of the way, clearing a path toward Goku. With the opening he created, Yamcha rushed forward, slamming his fist into Blue's chest, causing his concentration to falter. "Now, Goku," Yamcha called out. Freed from the psychic hold, Goku's energy surged. With a thunderous shout, he charged forward, his fist smashing into Blue's face, sending him flying into a wall. Staggering, blood trickling down his mouth, Blue stared in disbelief. How? How could a child overpower me? "It's over," Goku declared, ready to end the fight. Before he could strike again, Blue's men ordered a retreat. The Red Ribbon Army pulled back, but the damage had been done. The village lay in ruins, its people shattered by the ordeal. Goku and his friends helped the villagers rebuild, but the experience left him with a sobering realization. His strength alone wasn't always enough to prevent evil. He needed to become stronger. Afterward, Goku and his friends heard about the World Martial Arts Tournament, a gathering of the strongest fighters in the world from some of the villagers. Goku's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I've got to enter," he exclaimed. Bulma smirked. "Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. I think an old man won the last one. If I remember correctly, they take place every few years." Goku looked back at her, a bit saddened by the news that it would be some time before he could fight again. Years? That's so long. His enthusiasm dimming slightly. Seeing the disappointment on Goku's face, Bulma smiled and patted him on the shoulder. "Cheer up, Goku. This gives you time to train." Apparently, the strongest people from all over come to take part in the tournament. Yamcha, who had been quietly listening, spoke up with a thoughtful expression. "Training, huh? If the strongest fighters are going to be there, then the only way we'll stand a chance is if we get serious. And I know just the person who can help us." Goku's eyes lit up, eager once again. "Who? Tell me." "Master Roshi," Yamcha said with conviction. "The man's a legend. I've heard he's trained some of the most powerful fighters, including the winner of the last tournament. If anyone can help us get strong enough to compete, it's him." "Master Roshi," Bulma said, raising an eyebrow. "Who's that?" "He's a martial arts master and the strongest person on the planet," Yamcha said. "But no one really knows where he lives. We'll have to ask around." And so the group set off, traveling from town to town, asking anyone who might have a clue about the mysterious martial arts master. After days of searching, they finally stumbled upon an old fisherman who knew of Roshi's whereabouts. He pointed them toward a remote island in the middle of the ocean. Their journey took them across the seas, where they eventually landed on a small, quiet island. There, sitting outside a humble house with a turtle beside him, was an elderly man in sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt. Goku ran up, excitement spilling out of him. "Are you Master Roshi?" The old man raised an eyebrow and stood up slowly. "That depends on who's asking," Roshi replied with a smirk. Yamcha stepped forward. "We want to train under you. We're preparing for the World Martial Arts Tournament and heard you're the best." "Is that so?" Roshi mused, rubbing his beard. Well, let's see if you've got what it takes." He gestured to a young boy standing behind him. "This is Krillin. He's been training with me for a while now. If you can keep up with him, I might consider teaching you." Krillin stepped forward, a confident grin on his face. "I'm the top student here. You'll have to earn your place." Goku's eyes gleamed with excitement, while Yamcha sized Krillin up, sensing the rivalry immediately. Krillin stretched his limbs and glanced over at Goku with a confident smirk. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, settling into a fighting stance, his muscles taut with anticipation. Goku's expression shifted from his usual cheerful demeanor to one of intense focus. He dropped into his stance, legs bent, arms poised to strike. "I'm ready," he replied, his eyes locked on Krillin. For a moment, the air was still. Both fighters stared at each other, reading every movement, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. The wind picked up, whistling across the training ground, the tension building between them. "Fight!" Roshi's voice boomed, shattering the silence. Without hesitation, Goku lunged forward, his speed a blur as he closed the distance between them. But Krillin was quicker. With a swift sidestep, he dodged Goku's initial punch and countered with a precise strike to Goku's gut. The force of the blow sent Goku crashing to the ground, gasping for air as a trickle of blood escaped his lips. Krillin stood over him, his confidence growing. "Is that all you got?" he taunted, his tone almost dismissive. Goku coughed, clutching his stomach in pain, but instead of backing down, he grinned, wide and unshaken, a smile that spoke of a deep, unbreakable spirit. "Not even close," he replied, catching Krillin completely off guard. Using the moment of surprise, Goku swept Krillin's legs out from under him with a low kick. Krillin hit the ground, but before Goku could capitalize, Krillin recovered, rolling backward and blocking Goku's follow-up punch with his forearm. The two sprang to their feet in unison, and the real battle began. Goku and Krillin exchanged blows at lightning speed, fists and feet colliding with a sharp intensity. Krillin's experience and technique were on full display as he dodged Goku's strikes with ease, landing counters that pushed Goku back again and again. But Goku was relentless. Though Krillin was clearly winning, Goku kept pressing forward, his attacks growing sharper with each passing second. He was learning with every exchange, adapting to Krillin's movements. His resilience and raw talent were impossible to ignore. From the sidelines, Roshi watched closely, his arms crossed. He murmured, stroking his beard thoughtfully. "That boy has potential." Krillin, sensing Goku's growing strength, stepped up his attacks, delivering a flurry of strikes that forced Goku to go on the defensive. Yet, even as he struggled, Goku refused to back down, his spirit unshakable. With one final explosive exchange, the two leapt back, both breathing heavily, staring each other down. "Enough," Roshi called out, stepping between them. "You've both shown me what I needed to see." Krillin wiped the sweat from his forehead, still catching his breath, but he couldn't help but smile. "You're tough, Goku. I didn't think you'd last that long." Goku, though battered and bruised, grinned back. "You're pretty strong yourself." As the tension of the fight faded, Roshi approached them, his expression more serious now. "Goku, I'm impressed. Who trained you?" Goku's eyes softened at the question, and his smile became more nostalgic. "My grandpa, Grandpa Gohan," he said, glancing at the ground as memories of his grandfather flooded back. "He taught me everything I know before he passed away." Roshi's eyebrows raised, his gaze sharpening with recognition. "Gohan? The same Gohan I once knew?" Goku looked up, surprised. "You knew my grandpa?" Roshi noted slowly, his voice more somber now. "He was a great martial artist and a dear friend. I'm sorry to hear about his passing." Goku's face was a mix of pride and sadness. "He always told me to be strong and protect others." Roshi placed a hand on Goku's shoulder, his expression softening. "Gohan was a wise man, and from what I've seen today, he passed on his strength and spirit to you. You've got the potential to become even greater than him." Yamcha, who had been listening, stepped forward. "Master Roshi, if Goku's almost as strong as Krillin and has that kind of training, do you think you could teach us both?" Roshi chuckled, a gleam in his eye. "Well, you've got guts, I'll give you that. And if Gohan thought enough of Goku to train him, then maybe there's something in both of you worth refining. But let's be clear," he added, turning to Yamcha, "this won't be easy. You'll need to work harder than you ever have before." Yamcha nodded, his determination clear. "I'm ready for that." Goku, his energy restored at the idea of training even harder, pumped his fists. "Me too. I want to get stronger." Roshi grinned. "Good, then the real training begins tomorrow. But be prepared, you've got a long road ahead of you." Bulma wishes all four of them luck and promises to see them in the tournament as she takes off back home. Also, if you're enjoying the story so far, like and subscribe. The training began the next day, and it was nothing like Goku or Yamcha had imagined. Roshi's methods were unconventional, carrying heavy milk crates, plowing fields by hand, and dodging bees while running through forests. Krillin excelled, effortlessly breezing through the tasks, while Goku and Yamcha struggled to keep pace. Though Goku was naturally gifted, Krillin's experience gave him the upper hand. Yamcha, determined not to fall behind, pushed himself harder with each task. A friendly rivalry began to brew between the three, spurring them all to improve. Day after day, they trained relentlessly, with Roshi occasionally stepping in to offer cryptic advice or a surprise challenge. Goku admired Krillin's strength, but it only fueled his desire to surpass him. Yamcha, too, was driven to prove he could stand alongside them, never willing to let himself be outshined. As weeks turned into months, the three fighters grew stronger, faster, and more skilled. Their rivalry only intensified their training, pushing each of them to their limits. Finally, the day of the World Martial Arts Tournament arrived. The tournament buzzed with anticipation as fighters from across the globe assembled to compete. Goku, Yamcha, and their new ally Krillin all entered, eager to test their limits. As Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin advanced through the preliminary rounds, they began to take notice of another rising star, Tien Shinhan, the top student of the Crane School. His brutal efficiency in the ring was clear from the start, and it wasn't long before the tension between them became undeniable. Goku, with his cheerful determination, wasn't one to back down from a challenge, but Tien's cold, piercing gaze sent a chill down his spine. Yamcha and Krillin, too, felt the weight of Tien's presence. Their animosity between the two groups flared when Goku and his friends overheard Tien and Chaozu mocking their fighting style. "You think these Turtle School weaklings can stand a chance?" Tien said, loud enough for Goku and the others to hear. His voice was sharp with disdain. "The Crane School produces real fighters. They'll be crushed." Chaozu, standing beside Tien, let out a giggle. "They're no match for you, Tien, not even close." Krillin clenched his fists, feeling the sting of their words. "We'll see about that," he muttered, glaring at them. Jackie Chun, more seasoned and aware of the Crane School's ruthless tactics, stepped in front of Krillin. "Don't let them get to you. They're just trying to throw you off." But Goku, ever the optimist, simply smiled at Tien. "I can't wait to fight you." Tien's expression remained cold, but there was a flicker of irritation in his eyes. "You'll regret that confidence when we meet in the ring." As the tension between the two groups simmered, a brief break was announced before the main tournament matches began. Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin decided to wander around the tournament grounds, taking in the energy and excitement. The air buzzed with the sounds of vendors shouting, spectators cheering, and the distant clamor of practice fights. Goku's eyes darted from booth to booth, his curiosity as insatiable as ever, while Krillin admired some of the other fighters warming up nearby. "Man, this place is incredible," Krillin remarked, his eyes wide as they passed by a group of armored warriors discussing their match strategies. Yamcha, trying to keep his focus, nodded. "Yeah, but we've got to stay sharp. Our matches are coming up soon." Just as Goku paused to admire a stall selling exotic tournament souvenirs, a familiar voice rang out from behind them, cutting through the crowd's noise. "Well, look what we've got here. The Turtle School boys still getting themselves into trouble." Goku turned, his face lighting up. "Bulma," he shouted, rushing toward her with his signature smile. Bulma, standing with her hands on her hips, smirked at the group. "I leave you guys for a few years and you're already stirring up drama. Some things never change." Yamcha gave a wave, grinning. "Hey Bulma, it's good to see you. It's been so long." Krillin joined them, laughing. "Yeah, we're still standing. How's it going?" Bulma looked at each of them, sizing them up. "You guys look stronger than ever. I guess all that training with Master Roshi paid off, huh?" She eyed Goku's muscled arms and Krillin's confident posture. "Especially you, Goku. You're like a whole new person." "Yep, we've been training hard," Goku said, rubbing the back of his head. "We're ready to win this thing." Yamcha gave a confident nod. "This is what we've been working for." Bulma's eyes flickered to Tien in the distance, her expression turning more serious. "I saw that guy fight earlier. Tien Shinhan, right? He's intense." Krillin crossed his arms, still fuming. "Yeah, and he's not exactly friendly either. He thinks we're weak, but we'll show him." Yamcha frowned, looking toward Tien. "He's dangerous, no doubt about that, but we've trained hard too. We can take him." Bulma smiled warmly, though concern lingered in her eyes. "Well, I'll be cheering you guys on. Just don't get too beat up, okay?" "We'll be fine," Goku assured her, giving a thumbs up. "Thanks for coming, Bulma." With one last wave, Bulma headed to the spectator stands, her heart heavy with worry but full of pride for her friends. Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin returned their focus to the tournament, but thoughts of Tien weighed heavily on their minds. The tension was thick as Yamcha stepped into the ring to face Tien Shinhan. He knew this would be his toughest challenge yet, but Yamcha was determined to prove his worth and defend the honor of the Turtle School. Tien, on the other hand, looked down on Yamcha with cold disdain, confident in his superiority. The fight began with Yamcha attacking aggressively, unleashing his Wolf Fang fist in a blur of movement. Tien easily blocked and dodged most of the attacks, his expression calm and focused. Yamcha, undeterred, kept up the pressure, landing a few solid hits that pushed Tien back slightly. "Not bad. You're not as trash as I thought you were," Tien admitted, wiping a trickle of blood from his lip. "But it's not enough." With a sudden burst of speed, Tien retaliated, his blows landing with devastating precision. Yamcha tried to defend, but Tien's power was overwhelming. The fight took a brutal turn as Tien grabbed Yamcha and launched him into the air with a powerful knee to the stomach. Yamcha, struggling to catch his breath, crashed to the ground. Before he could recover, Tien flew up and slammed him down with a brutal attack, knocking him unconscious. The crowd gasped as the fight came to a crushing end. Tien stood over Yamcha, victorious, showing no sign of remorse for the brutal beating he had delivered. Goku and Krillin looked on, their anger simmering. In the next match, Krillin faced his former opponent from the last tournament, Jackie Chun, but this time things were different. Krillin had grown significantly stronger since their last encounter, and he was eager to prove himself. As they stepped into the ring, Jackie Chun smiled warmly at his former student. "So, Krillin, looks like you've improved. Let's see if you've got what it takes to beat me this time." Krillin smirked, cracking his knuckles. "I've been waiting for this. Last time, I didn't know what I was up against, but now, I'm ready." The fight began with both of them exchanging blows at high speed, their movements a blur to the spectators. Krillin used his enhanced speed and strength to keep up with Jackie Chun, pushing him harder than before. Each of Krillin's strikes was precise, and he even managed to land a solid punch on Jackie Chun's face, making the disguised Roshi stumble back. "Not bad, kid," Jackie Chun said, his tone serious now. "But let's see how you handle this." Jackie Chun launched a series of powerful attacks, each one testing Krillin's reflexes and skill. Krillin fought back valiantly, but Jackie Chun's experience and wisdom showed in every move. It was clear that Chun still had the upper hand, but something in his gaze shifted as the fight went on. We could see Krillin's growth, his determination. Rather than defeat Krillin outright, Jackie Chun made the decision to test him further. In a subtle move, he left an opening for Krillin to exploit. Krillin, noticing the opportunity, delivered a final strike that knocked Jackie Chun out of the ring, securing his victory. The crowd cheered and Krillin beamed with pride. As he walked past Krillin, Jackie Chun muttered under his breath, "Let's see how you do against Tien." Goku's match was against Pamput, a martial arts champion known for his incredible strength and speed. Despite Pamput's confidence and flashy entrance, the fight was over in a flash. As soon as the match began, Pamput charged at Goku with all his might. Goku, however, easily sidestepped the attack and delivered a swift punch to Pamput's stomach, knocking him out cold with a single hit. The crowd was stunned into silence for a moment before erupting into cheers. Goku smiled and waved, but his mind was already focused on the upcoming fights. He knew that Tien was waiting for him, and after what Tien had done to Yamcha, Goku was determined to win. The next fight was between Chaozu and a strange opponent named Manwolf. The fight was brief. Chaozu used his psychic powers to immobilize Manwolf, effortlessly controlling the battle. With a flick of his fingers, Chaozu sent Manwolf flying out of the ring, securing his place in the semifinals. The semifinal match between Krillin and Tien was one of the most anticipated battles of the tournament. The air was thick with tension as the two fighters stepped into the ring, both eager to prove themselves. Krillin, being the strongest of the Turtle School students, was ready to give Tien everything he had. He knew how dangerous Tien was, especially after what had happened to Yamcha, but Krillin wasn't afraid. The fight began. It was clear that Krillin wasn't going to make things easy for Tien. The two exchanged rapid blows, each one pushing the other to their limits. Krillin's speed and technique were impressive, and he managed to land several hits on Tien, much to the crowd's excitement. For a while, it seemed as though Krillin might have the upper hand. He unleashed a powerful Kamehameha that forced Tien to go on the defensive. But Tien wasn't about to be beaten. With a roar of frustration, he countered with his own devastating attack, a tri-beam that sent Krillin crashing to the ground. Krillin, badly injured but not willing to give up, struggled to his feet. His body was battered and blood trickled from his mouth, but his spirit remained unbroken. "I'm not done yet," Krillin shouted, charging at Tien with one last burst of energy. Tien, however, ended the fight with a brutal kick to Krillin's chest, sending him flying out of the ring. Krillin hit the ground hard, unconscious and defeated. As medics rushed to tend to Krillin, Goku knelt by his friend's side. Krillin, barely conscious, grabbed Goku's arm. "Goku, get revenge. From me and Yamcha," he muttered, his voice weak but filled with determination. Goku's eyes narrowed, his fists clenched. He stood up, glaring at Tien, who was watching the scene with cold indifference. In the next semi-final match, Goku faced Chaozu. While Chaozu had relied on his psychic abilities to win his previous fights, he quickly realized that Goku was no ordinary opponent. As the fight began, Chaozu attempted to freeze Goku in place with his telekinesis, but Goku broke free with ease, his raw strength and speed far surpassing Chaozu's expectations. Chaozu tried to retaliate with a series of energy blasts, but Goku dodged them effortlessly. With a single powerful punch, Goku knocked Chaozu to the ground, ending the match. As Chaozu struggled to get up, Goku walked over, grabbed him by his shirt, and lifted him off the ground. His eyes blazed with fury as he looked directly at Tien. "You're next," Goku growled, his voice low and dangerous. Tien, unfazed by Goku's anger, simply smirked, "We'll see." The tension was palpable as Goku and Tien faced each other in the ring. The sun had begun its slow descent, casting long shadows across the arena. But neither fighter paid attention to the passage of time. This was the match that everyone had been waiting for. Goku versus Tien. Turtle School versus Crane School. The air buzzed with the excitement of the crowd, but Goku's focus was entirely on his opponent. Goku's eyes burned with anger, still seething from what Tien had done to Krillin and Yamcha. Tien, calm and collected, smirked, his confidence unshaken. "I hope you're ready," Tien said, his voice cold, "because this isn't going to be easy." Goku didn't respond with words. Instead, he clenched his fists and charged at Tien with a speed that left a trail of dust in his wake. The two collided in a flurry of punches and kicks, each blow powerful enough to crack the ground beneath them. Tien's martial arts prowess was evident. His movements were calculated, precise, and powerful. He seemed to anticipate every strike Goku threw, blocking and countering with ease. Despite his rage, Goku couldn't break through Tien's defense. Every time he tried to land a powerful blow, Tien was one step ahead, countering with devastating force. Tien's fist drove into Goku's stomach, causing him to stagger back, gasping for air. "You're strong, Goku," Tien said, smirking as he wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. "But not strong enough." Goku gritted his teeth and wiped the blood from his mouth. His anger flared again, fueling him. With a roar, he rushed Tien once more, his attacks wild and ferocious. He caught Tien off guard with a sudden burst of speed, landing a hard punch to Tien's face that sent him stumbling back. For a moment, it seemed like Goku was turning the tide of the fight. His rage pushed him to new heights, and Tien struggled to keep up with the relentless onslaught. But Goku's attacks, while powerful, were fueled by emotion rather than strategy, and Tien soon regained control. With a devastating knee to Goku's chest, Tien sent him crashing to the ground, the wind knocked out of him. Tien stood over Goku, breathing heavily but still composed. "You're impressive," Tien admitted. "Stronger than I thought, but I'm not going to lose." Goku slowly stood, his breathing ragged but his spirit unbroken. The fight continued, stretching on as the sun sank lower in the sky. Each clash was more intense than the last, with both fighters pushing themselves to the absolute limit. The sun's orange glow faded into twilight, casting the arena in a dusky haze. The crowd was silent now, watching in awe as Goku and Tien battled relentlessly. As the moon began to rise, a full moon glowing bright in the night sky, Goku found himself on the brink of defeat. Tien had landed a series of brutal attacks, leaving Goku bloodied and barely able to stand. Tien, though equally exhausted, stood tall, ready to deliver the final blow. But then, something changed. Goku, staggering to his feet, caught sight of the full moon. His eyes widened, his body tensed, and a low growl escaped his throat. Roshi's eyes went wide with alarm. Goku's body rapidly grew in size, his muscles bulging as fur sprouted across his skin, his eyes turned red, and his mouth elongated into a snout. In a matter of moments, Goku had transformed into the Great Ape. The crowd screamed in terror as the enormous ape let out a deafening roar, shaking the arena. Goku, now completely out of control, smashed his fists into the ground, causing the earth to tremble. His wild eyes scanned the battlefield, his mind consumed by primal rage. Tien, who had been so close to victory, now stared up in shock at the massive creature before him. What is this?" he stammered, stepping back. The Crane Hermit, watching from the sidelines, shouted to Tien, "That's no ordinary transformation, Tien. We need to stop him, or he'll destroy everything." Roshi, the Crane Hermit, Chaozu, and Tien all leaped into action, desperately trying to subdue the raging Great Ape. Roshi fired a powerful Kamehameha, while Tien and Chaozu launched their own energy attacks. But Goku shrugged them off like they were nothing. "We can't stop him like this," Roshi shouted. "He transformed because he looked at the moon, right? We need to destroy the moon." The Crane Hermit nodded. He concentrated, focusing all his power, and with a burst of energy, he unleashed a blast toward the moon. The explosion lit up the night sky, and within moments, the full moon was no more. As the moon vanished, Goku's body began to shrink, the fur receding, and his monstrous form reverted back to his human state. He lay unconscious on the ground, exhausted and weakened from the transformation. The arena was in ruins, but the battle wasn't over yet. Tien, breathing heavily and covered in bruises, staggered over to Goku. He clenched his fists, ready to finish the fight once and for all. But as Goku slowly regained consciousness, he stood up, his body battered and weak, but his spirit still unbroken. "Let's finish this," Goku muttered, his voice hoarse but determined. Tien, equally exhausted, nodded. The two fighters, now barely able to stand, squared off one last time. The crowd watched in stunned silence as Goku and Tien, both wounded and exhausted, exchanged the final blows of the match. With a final burst of energy, Goku and Tien launched themselves at each other, their fists colliding in a thunderous impact. The shockwave rippled through the arena, and for a moment, everything went still. Goku's fist grazed Tien's face, and Tien's punch struck Goku square in the jaw. The force of the blows sent both fighters crashing to the ground, utterly spent. For a brief moment, Goku believed he had won. As his vision blurred and darkness overtook him, he smiled, thinking he had bested Tien. But as Goku lost consciousness, Tien remained barely standing, his body trembling with exhaustion. The referee declared Tien the winner, but there was no celebration. Tien, breathing heavily, looked down at Goku with newfound respect. "You're strong, Goku," Tien muttered, wiping the blood from his mouth. "Stronger than anyone I've ever fought." Roshi approached Tien, his face calm but serious. "You've seen the power of those who fight for something greater than themselves," he said, placing a hand on Tien's shoulder. "It's not too late to walk a different path." Tien, still processing the battle, looked at Roshi and then back at Goku, lying unconscious on the ground. For the first time, doubt flickered in Tien's eyes. He had won the match, but Goku had shown him something far more valuable, a strength born from heart, not just power. Although he wasn't fully converted, a thought took root in his mind. As the tournament ended, Tien found himself questioning everything he had believed, while Goku lay unconscious, dreaming of the next challenge to come. As Goku regained consciousness, a familiar figure came into view, sitting at the edge of his bed. "Bulma? What happened? My head is killing me," he mumbled, rubbing his forehead. Bulma turned to him, her expression a mix of worry and relief. "You lost the tournament, Goku. You've been out for 3 hours. While you were unconscious, a green monster appeared and killed the Crane Hermit. He left a strange symbol on the body. Master Roshi told us it's a sign of King Piccolo. Goku, King Piccolo has returned." The gravity of her words settled in, and Goku's heart raced. But what about everyone else? Roshi, Tien, and Chaozu are back at the island. Krillin and Yamcha are there too, but they're pretty banged up from the tournament, she replied, a hint of fear in her voice. "Goku, we need to get to the island. King Piccolo's coming for the tournament contestants. We're next." Goku felt overwhelmed by the flood of information. Together, they raced back to Kame House, where a tense atmosphere hung in the air. Master Roshi's face was grave, a stark contrast to his usual demeanor. King Piccolo isn't like any other enemy. If he's back, the entire world is in peril. Goku clenched his fists, a fierce resolve sparking in his eyes. Then I'll stop him. Remember, Grandpa Gohan told me to use my strength to protect people, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. His friends gathered around him. Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha, and Krillin. They were battered, but their eyes held the same steely determination. Tien spoke first, his voice steady. King Piccolo killed our master. We can't let him go unpunished. They all shared a silent nod. Yamcha added, "Count me in. I've got a few moves left to teach that green monster." Krillin, still bandaged, gave a resolute nod. "We're with you, Goku. Let's take him down together." Master Roshi looked them over, admiration tempered by worry in his eyes. "If you're going to face him, you'll need to climb Korin Tower and find the sacred water. It's our only chance. You must become stronger." Goku's eyes brightened at the challenge. "We'll climb that tower and train harder than ever." Master Roshi stepped outside and called for the flying Nimbus. As the golden cloud approached, he turned to Goku. "This will take you there quickly. Don't waste time." With a quick thank you, Goku leaped onto Nimbus and took off. The others prepared to follow, with Bulma producing a capsule that revealed a helicopter-like vehicle. "This should get us there fast. We can track the tower with my GPS," she said, climbing in with the others. They flew towards Korin Tower, the wind rushing past them as the urgency of their mission pressed on them. When they arrived, they saw Appa and his father at the base. "We'll help you heal," Appa's father offered, tending to Krillin and Yamcha's wounds. Goku looked back at his friends. "I just need to grab something quickly. I'll be right back." He took off on the Nimbus, heading toward his house to retrieve his staff. The next day, Goku returned with his staff, landing gracefully. "I'm back. Let's do this," he declared. Together they began the arduous climb up Korin Tower. The days of training were grueling, but each day they pushed beyond their limits. Korin, the wise yet stern cat-like master, guided their training, pushing them to refine their techniques. As they trained, they felt a new strength growing within them. Goku's Kamehameha, Tien's Tri-Beam, and the others' techniques all improved under Korin's watchful eye. Meanwhile, chaos erupted across the world below. News spread of King Piccolo's destruction, and the world was gripped by fear. Each day brought reports of cities in ruin and people slaughtered. And all the while, the shadow of Tambourine, King Piccolo's merciless henchman, loomed large as he hunted down tournament fighters. Finally, they descended Korin Tower, ready to confront Piccolo. But before they could reach him, Tambourine intercepted them. The confrontation was swift and brutal. The team fought with newfound strength, and through a coordinated effort, they finally defeated him. "Where is King Piccolo?" Goku demanded, standing over Tambourine, who finally relented and revealed Piccolo's location. Tien then steps forward, killing Tambourine with a final blow in honor of his master. They took off once again, racing towards the mountains to confront Piccolo himself. The final confrontation was fierce. Tien stepped up to face Piccolo first, seeking to avenge their master. The battle ignited with ferocity. Tien and Piccolo clashed in a storm of punches and energy blasts, each hit resonating like thunder. For a moment, Tien seemed to have the upper hand, landing blow after blow against the ancient evil. Piccolo stumbled back, momentarily taken aback. "You're strong, boy," Piccolo growled, struggling to regain his footing. But with a swift motion, Piccolo threw dirt into Tien's eyes, blinding him momentarily. Before Tien could recover, Piccolo lunged, grabbing Chaozu and holding him hostage. "Make one wrong move and I'll end him right here," Piccolo threatened, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "Don't!" Tien shouted, desperation creeping into his voice. In a flash, Piccolo unleashed a barrage of energy blasts at Goku, Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha, leaving them sprawled on the ground, badly wounded and helpless, similar to what he did to Goku in the anime. As the dust settled, King Piccolo turned his attention to Chaozu, his expression twisted with malice. With a swift motion, he stabbed Chaozu in the chest. The world around them seemed to freeze as Chaozu gasped, pain radiating from his wound. "Chaozu!" Tien cried, horror etched across his face. Realizing the gravity of the moment, Chaozu's eyes glimmered with determination. "I won't let him win," he said, channeling his energy. With a sudden burst of power, he prepared to self-destruct. But Piccolo, sensing something was off, hurled Chaozu high into the air. "What are you trying to do?" Just then, a brilliant light engulfed Chaozu as he detonated. The explosion rocked the landscape, sending shockwaves through the air. However, the blast only tore off Piccolo's arms, which quickly regenerated. "Pathetic," Piccolo taunted, his voice dripping with disdain. "Your little trick didn't work." This moment ignited a fire within Goku and his friends. Rage fueled their pain as they summoned the strength to rise. Goku, using his staff as a crutch, pushed himself to his feet. "We won't let you win," he shouted, voice raw with emotion. With newfound determination, Tien stood beside Goku, a fierce glint in his eyes. "You just killed my best friend. You'll pay for what you've done." The dust from the explosion settled around them. Goku, Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha, all battered and bruised, exchanged determined glances. They wouldn't let Chaozu's sacrifice be in vain. With a fierce cry, they charged at King Piccolo, a united front against the ancient evil. Tien led the charge, his heart heavy with grief, but his spirit ignited. "Chaozu, I'll make you proud," he yelled as his fists flew in a rapid flurry, each punch fueled by the memory of his fallen friend. Piccolo staggered back under Tien's relentless assault, his wicked grin faltering. Goku quickly followed, launching himself into the fray. "Let's finish this," he yelled, bringing his fists down like hammers against Piccolo's sides and ribs. Krillin and Yamcha flanked Piccolo, each moving with precision. Piccolo lashed out, retaliating with vicious swipes of his clawed hands, but the group's resolve only grew stronger. As Piccolo countered, he unleashed waves of energy blasts, forcing them to dodge and weave. "This isn't just for us. It's for Chaozu, Master Shen, and anyone else you killed," Tien cried, launching himself at Piccolo again, his tri-beam charging in his palms. Goku matched Tien's intensity, thrusting forward with a series of rapid punches, pushing Piccolo back further. But Piccolo, sensing the tide turning, narrowed his eyes. "You think you can defeat me?" he roared, gathering energy for a massive blast. "Not today," Krillin shouted. He dashed in front of Tien, delivering a desperate volley of kicks that disrupted Piccolo's concentration. Goku seized the opportunity, delivering a swift uppercut that sent Piccolo crashing to the ground. With Piccolo temporarily dazed, the group pressed their advantage. Yamcha leaped high, aiming a flying kick at Piccolo's head, while Tien followed with his tri-beam. Realizing he was being overwhelmed, Piccolo gritted his teeth and attempted to flee. "You think you've won?" he snarled, eyes wild with desperation. "I'll return." "Not if we can help it," Goku shouted, energy surging through him. He focused all his might into one hand, preparing a Kamehameha wave. "This ends now." "In honor of Chaozu," Tien yelled, channeling his energy into a Dodon ray. The two energies merged in the air as Goku launched his attack. "Kamehameha!" Goku shouted, a brilliant blue beam erupting from his hand, colliding with Tien's focused beam. The combined force tore through the air, aimed straight at King Piccolo. Piccolo, realizing too late the magnitude of their combined attacks, raised his hands in a futile defense. The energy enveloped him, illuminating the sky in a blinding light. "No, this can't be happening," he bellowed, but his cries were drowned by the roaring force of their combined power. The beam tore through Piccolo's stomach, the energy ripping him apart from within. As he staggered, a final desperate act of defiance surged through him. With a violent heave, he spat out an egg, which shot far into the distance, glistening ominously. "You may have defeated me, but this is not over," he gasped, his body disintegrating as the egg vanished from sight. Goku and the others stood in shock, eyes wide as the aura surrounding Piccolo faded, leaving only silence and the faint echo of his laughter. As the dust began to settle, the group knew they had won, but the weight of their loss lingered heavily in the air. Together, they vowed to honor Chaozu's sacrifice, united in their resolve to protect the world from the darkness that threatened it. After the harrowing battle with King Piccolo, the world was left reeling. The emotional toll of loss weighed heavily on Tien, who grieved for his fallen master Shen and for his friend Chaozu. Standing alone at the site of the fight, memories of his comrades flooded his mind. The cries for vengeance echoed in his heart, but he understood he needed strength, not just for himself, but to protect those who remained. "We failed them because we weren't strong enough," Tien said, turning to the group. "I can't let that happen again, not to anyone." Goku, Krillin, and Yamcha nodded in agreement. The threat of King Piccolo still loomed large, and they couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't truly over. They needed to prepare for what lay ahead. Master Roshi, hearing their resolve, suggested they seek out Kami, the Guardian of Earth. "He can help you become stronger than you ever thought possible," Roshi advised. "It's time to go to Kami's lookout." With their minds set, the group traveled to the lookout, greeted by the serene presence of Kami and his assistant Mr. Popo. Kami welcomed them, understanding their need for training and their grief over their losses. "I can help you channel that pain into power," Kami assured them. "But remember, power without purpose leads to ruin. Only by mastering yourself can you truly master your strength." As they trained at the lookout, they faced Kami's wise teachings and rigorous regimen. Goku honed his skills in energy control, pushing his limits with each passing day. Tien, fueled by grief and anger, dedicated himself to mastering new techniques, striving to honor Chaozu's memory. Krillin and Yamcha followed suit, working hard to strengthen themselves in solidarity with their friends. During their time there, Kami restored the moon, granting Goku the opportunity to harness the power of the full moon for training, a power lost due to previous conflict. Goku felt invigorated by the possibility of tapping into this ability once more. Meanwhile, in the shadows, Piccolo Jr. trained relentlessly, driven by the memory of his father's defeat. He pushed himself harder than ever, aware that the 4 enemies who had taken down his father were formidable threats. "I must become stronger," he muttered, determination radiating from him. Years passed, and their training continued. Goku and the others grew not just in power, but in unity, forging bonds that strengthened their resolve. Tien fully allied with Goku's group, letting go of the darkness within himself. Their experiences on the lookout taught them that true strength was found in friendship and trust. As the World Martial Arts Tournament approached once more, the stage was set for the reunion of rivals. Goku, now a young man, was eager to test his newfound skills against powerful opponents, especially against Piccolo Jr., who had become a force to be reckoned with. The atmosphere at the tournament was electric, spectators filling the stands with palpable anticipation. When Goku stepped into the arena for the final match against Piccolo Jr., he felt the weight of their shared history. "I've trained hard, Piccolo. I knew this day would come," Goku declared, determination shining in his eyes. Piccolo Jr. stood tall, rage and the desire for revenge burning in his gaze. "You may have defeated my father, but I will destroy you. I've become stronger for this moment," he roared, lunging at Goku with unmatched ferocity. The battle erupted with raw intensity. Goku matched Piccolo's every move, their fists colliding with devastating force. Goku fought fair, seeking to win the tournament, while Piccolo resorted to underhanded tactics, desperate for victory. Each strike echoed with the legacy of their past encounters. The arena shook with the power of their clash, Goku focusing on honing his techniques, evading and countering Piccolo's relentless assaults. But Piccolo, fueled by vengeance, unleashed brutal attacks, determined to break Goku's spirit. "Your friends won't save you this time, Goku. I'll crush you and your false strength," Piccolo snarled, launching an energy wave that tore through the arena. Goku narrowly dodged, feeling the heat of the blast graze his skin. "You don't understand, Piccolo. They're my strength," Goku shot back, countering with a powerful Kamehameha that sent shockwaves through the stadium. The two continued their battle, showcasing their growth and prowess, trading blows that tested their limits. In a decisive moment, Goku unleashed his ultimate technique, tapping into the power he had gained from his training with Kami. With a fierce shout, he launched himself at Piccolo, fists a blur. Goku's determination radiated as he fought with precision and control, but Piccolo countered fiercely, refusing to be outdone. As the battle reached its climax, both fighters were battered and exhausted, each refusing to give in. In a final desperate attempt, Piccolo unleashed his strongest attack, a massive energy wave aimed at Goku. But Goku, now more focused than ever, executed a perfect counter. He sidestepped Piccolo's attack and struck back with a powerful punch that sent Piccolo crashing to the ground. Piccolo struggled to rise, gasping for breath. "How? How can you be this strong?" he muttered, despair creeping into his voice. Goku stood before him, hand extended in an offer of peace. "You don't have to follow your father's path, Piccolo. You can choose a different way." But before Piccolo could respond, he collapsed, the weight of defeat pulling him down. Goku stood victorious, but the crowd was filled with a mixture of cheers and stunned silence. Just as Tien stepped forward, fueled by anger and grief, Goku held him back. "No, we don't kill defenseless opponents. That's not who we are." He paused, looking deep into Tien's eyes. Piccolo will always be a reminder for us to keep growing and getting stronger. He's a part of this cycle now, and so are we. If we act out of vengeance, we become just like the enemies we fight against. Tien hesitated, the anger simmering within him. Goku continued, his voice steady. Every time he comes back, it's a chance for us to learn and improve. We can't afford to lose ourselves in hatred. Tien, breathing heavily, the anger that fueled him ebbed as he looked at Goku and the defeated Piccolo. Finally, he relented, stepping back. Fine, but this isn't over. Tien muttered, still brimming with resentment. As Piccolo lay defeated, he gazed at Goku, torn between hatred and respect. You may have won today, Goku, but I won't forget this. I'll come back stronger. Goku nodded, understanding the journey ahead for both of them. And when you do, I'll be ready, he replied, the sincerity in his voice cutting through the tension. With the tournament concluded, Goku stood tall among his friends, their bonds solidified through their trials. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger, ready to protect the world from whatever lay ahead. But as Goku looked toward the horizon, he knew this was only the beginning of an even greater challenge. And that's the end for the Dragon Ball section of the story. This is my first What If story, so if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe and let me know if you want me to continue it. But check out my other videos on the screen. See you there.